What is up, you guys? It is Ryan with the Idaho Crypto Group back again with another cryptocurrency video. And today I'm going to be going over 5 tips to becoming a successful day trader. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of better traders out there. They're more experienced and they've been trading for a longer time than me, but I have learned from my mistakes. I have gone through quite the learning process, and I've developed this list to help you guys, whether you're new or experienced, help eliminate some of your mistakes. These are fairly basic, but these are some of the biggest lessons that I learned as a growing trader. So I've been trading. I started in stocks, moved to Forex, and then ended up in crypto. And I've been day trading for a little over 4 years now. And I definitely started off bad. I mean, just like everyone else, I didn't really know what I was doing, and I wasn't very profitable, until the past year or so, when I've learned my lessons and learned to control my trading strategies. And so if you guys try to live by these 5 tips of advice, you're gonna be, growing as a trader a lot quicker than most. So let's jump right into it. So tip number 1 that I'm going to be giving you guys is don't invest what you can't afford to lose. And I cannot stress this enough. A lot of people go out there and invest their entire savings and they don't know quite what they're doing yet, and then all of a sudden they're losing their money and they can't pay their bills, and boom, you're bankrupt. Now, investing is great, and the more you invest, the more that you're going to get back. But you need to invest safely, make sure that your bills are going to be covered, and if you're making large investments, you better be well educated on what you're investing into and what you're doing. Money's no joke. Money makes the world go round. All right, now tip number 2 is be consistent. This was one of my biggest mistakes when I first started trading, is I was all over the place. I was trading when I was in college classes. I was trading when I was out with friends, out at dinner with the girlfriend. And when you're trading all over the place with that, you can't really sit down and look at your charts and make sure that you're making good trades. Also, you can't just trade, you have to have a schedule. You got to know when you're going to trade. You got to know when the markets are doing good, whether it's 2 hours when you wake up or 2 hours before bed or 2 hours in the middle of the day. You got to make sure that you're prepared to sit down, analyze, and make those trades. Now, don't get me wrong. You can chart for a while and then set up a trade to hold for a few days or a week or a month. That's okay, but you have to be consistent with the time that you're on the computer, whether it's charting, trading, selling, buying, all of that stuff. You've got to have a set time, and you've got to be consistent and do it daily, weekly, monthly, whatever you're doing to get those long-term profits. All right, now tip number 3 is be absolutely strict on your strategy. I chose this little picture down here because that's what you're going to look like if you're not strict on your strategies. You're just going to be confused all over the place and frustrated and angry. Now, if you have a strategy, now we'll talk more about this in some trading strategies, but you've got to have something called a risk to reward ratio. So let's say you opened a trade and you were hoping to hit 3%. You would set your stop loss at 1%, and if you did that, that would be a 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio. So you'd be willing to lose 1%, but you're trying to gain 3%. But the reason that you have to be strict on that stop loss, on losing that 1%, is because a lot of people let their trades blow past where they were planning to get out, and then you're in the hole. And at that point, you don't want to sell your loss, so you just keep waiting, and then you're in the hole deeper and deeper and deeper, and then you lost $2,000 on a trade in a couple of minutes. So the reason that you have to be strict on your stop loss is because if you made 3 trades in a day, and you won 2 of them, and you only lost 1 according to that 1 to 3 strategy that I just mentioned, you would have gained 3% on one trade, 3% on another trade, and then you would have lost 1% on that third trade. So that equals out to 5% gain in a day. But if you were at your 5% and you let your trade blow past your stop loss, and now you're down 10%, all of a sudden you're 5%, 6% in the hole, when you could have saved yourself all of that money just by setting a stop loss. So you guys have to be strict on your stop losses. Open up your trade and immediately set that stop loss, and don't move it. Don't get hopeful and say, oh, I think it's going to bounce down here and maybe come back up. Set that stop loss and leave it there. You have to be strict on your strategy. Take it from me. I did that a lot. I got into the hole and I was like, oh, maybe it's going to come back up after this stop loss. And then I would move my stop loss down, and then I would remove it again, and it just kept going down. And then I'd be down $1,000 in a day. So you guys have to be strict. All right, now tip number 4 is set and strive for goals. I like this quote down here in the picture at the bottom that says, a goal without a plan is just a wish. That is the exact truth right there, guys. Guys, if you're just blindly trading and you don't really know what you're going for, there's going to be nothing to aim for. You're not going to have targets in your trades. You're not going to be getting out on time. You're going to be making big losses. So you have to have goals. Personally, as a day trader, I shoot for 3% a day. I have found that to be kind of my golden magic number because that compounds very quickly. If I hit 3% a day and only trade, I usually trade about 5 to 6 days of the week. So that's 15 to 18% a week. That compounds very, very quickly. So you guys have to have your own individual goals. If you were, trading, holding a swing trader over a few days or maybe a couple of weeks, you'd be aiming for maybe 8, 15, anywhere in there percent. But as a day trader, I specifically try to close my trades before I go to bed at night. I'm shooting for 3% a day. And that is my goal. If you don't have goals, you're just going to be blindly trading, hoping to make some profit here, hoping to make some profit there. It's just going to be blind. You guys have to be strategic and you have to have goals. All right. Now, tip number 5 is leave emotion out of it. This is the most important tip I think that anybody could give a new trader, is leave emotion out of it. Now, this was one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I first started trading. Like I said, I would jump into trades and I would move my stop losses and I would get into this huge hole of negative 10%, negative 15%, and then I would close my trade out there with my negative 15% because, I was like, I don't want it to go down anymore. Now, the reason I could have never gotten into that hole if I would have left emotion out of it. If you do your trades strictly by math and strategy, then there's absolutely not going to be room to lose 10% like that. Literally, think about this. If you guys were just strict and said, okay, I'm setting my stop loss as soon as I open my trade at negative 1%, and it hit that, the most you're going to lose is 1%. But if you move your stop loss, then you could be down 2%, and then you get emotional about it, and you're like, oh, I lost $200, I need to wait now. And then it's going to keep dropping, and it's going to keep dropping. And if you would have just left emotion out of it and just stuck with your strategy, I'm cutting my losses at 1%, you could have saved yourself a whole lot of money. And along with leaving emotion out of it, it goes the opposite way when you're trying to buy. Okay? A lot of times people do what they call FOMO, F-O-M-O, which stands for fear of missing out. And basically what that looks like in crypto trading is when a price starts blowing up, and you're like, oh shoot, I want to get some of this profit. So you hop in and it's too late and it comes back down. That's FOMO. You can't be afraid to miss out. There's going to be moves that you're going to miss out on. That's the reality of trading. You absolutely cannot make every single profitable trade. So when you see things going like that up, instead of jumping in and then letting it fall on you, you should be charting and figuring out where the next dip is going to be and the next support that it's going to come back down to so that you can buy in at that support. So guys, leave emotion out of it, and I promise you'll be much more profitable in trading. All right, guys, so that wraps up my 5 tips to becoming a successful day trader. Appreciate you guys watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe and check out our other videos on our channel. We're always going to be doing crypto giveaways as well. So make sure to drop your Tron addresses in the comments below. We love giving away free crypto. We'll give away some of our own ICG tokens as well as Tron, Dogcoin, BTT, all sorts of stuff. So always be dropping your Tron addresses in the comments below, and make sure to stay tuned and tune in next time for our next video. Thanks, guys.